What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to go over BT-07 as a whole. All cards kind of been revealed in English, and we know they've been out for BT-07 for quite a while in Japan, but I feel like it's a good time to just sit there, look at all the amazing cards, and let's dive into this video, shall we? Let's start this video off with the babies. Most of these babies will not see really many competitive play, because the ones prior are still more viable than most. So Mons okay if you are running the hybrid list, but it's still, while you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. Your turn. If it was both players' turn, this card would instantly be played in even the hybrid deck or any deck going forwards. But sadly, it is requiring your turn and you having a Tamer. So it gets seen very little play. You could definitely run it if you like. Then you have Pokemon. So when you play a Digimon with when you play a Digimon from one of your Digievolution cards, you gain 1 memory. So what you could do is tech this in with Chaos Dramon decks, especially because Chaos Dramon Machine Dramon deck fuses with blue. This card is quite useful, but most people will use the Jamming Vmon combo, where they kind of use the Demi Vmon that when it swings with jamming, you instantly gain a draw. So you could possibly play it there, but most of the time it just doesn't have any play yet. And we're waiting for decks to be more viable to allow us to pull cards out. Then we have Perjurimon. So when this card is trashed due to the activation of Digiburst, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for the turn. This card isn't viable just yet. This card will get viable in the next set when the deck it's themed around, which I'll explain when we get later in the video, gets a support card that helps it out extensively for this. So right now it's on the back burner. Next we have Koromon. Koromon's very interesting. When attacking, reveal the top card of your deck, place it at the top or bottom of your deck. This really helps out with the theme of the gacha deck. It really does. And it is splashed in green hybrid as a one-of at times. So keep that in mind. It's a really good card. And it's a great baby for green because, especially if you play the, Izzy and Mimi, they both allow you to look at the top. So if you can look ahead of time and know that you can Digivolve on top of it, or you just put it down to the bottom first before you start looking, that might help out and filter out anyway. Then we have Doraemon. Doraemon really does help out. So when one of your effects places a Digievolution card under this Digimon, draw a card. This really does help out for the X Antibody deck in this set. This card is definitely played in X Antibody, so keep that in mind. Then we have Kokomon. So reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, discard 1 Tamer among them, return the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this really does make a lot of powerful plays, especially with the Cherubimon in this set. So it definitely sees some play there. I mean, I'm going to skip some of these vanillas because we already know what vanillas do. They're nothing too crazy. Flamedramon really does help out the consistency of the hybrid and Susano deck that kind of comes from this, because being able to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, add a Digimon card with hybrid in its form, and or Susanomon or Takumi Abia among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. So, and on deletion, play 1 Takumi Kanabara from your hand without paying its memory cost. Might be a transition area gap. I'm having difficulty reading that. Sorry about that. But Flamemon is quite useful in the set. It also has an alternate art that everybody will hunt. This Hawkmon really gives Jessmon another oomph in the right direction, because when attacking, revealing the top 4 cards of your deck, add cards with Sistermon in among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. This helps filter out the issue with trying to dig deeper, especially when this card early game now allows you to get this Hawkmon out promoted, swing in. And what's even nastier is one of the reasons Jessmon struggled was if they hit an ultimate flare in security, their whole stack went bye-bye. Well, with now Hawkmon being a play cost 4, as this line can be pulled up, you're now not risking a full board wipe anymore. You now have a Hawkmon on board that you can climb up in the later game, especially to get a rebound back in. So keep that in mind. Then we do have Tuskmon. When Digivolving, one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. No, this card is not played. Burning Greymon's really interesting. So being a lot of the hybrid secondary level 4s have gotten the ability to Digivolve on top of a Tamer for 3 costs less. So it becomes a cost of 2 to Digivolve on top of a Tamer. So you can either Digivolve on top of a 4 for 1, a 3 for 3 cost, or a Tamer for 2. So keep that in mind that it really does help out. And when Digivolving, if this Digimon Digivolves cards with hybrid in his form or a Takumi Abia, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. So keep that in mind. It is a very niche card. Vanilla, Metal Greymon sees a little bit of play this set. I don't see it seeing massive amount of play, but it is a really good card. It really might see more in Machine Dramon if I remember correctly. It's like a one of tech, but it's really nice. So on play, if you have a Tamer in play, gain 2 memory. If you don't have a Tamer in play, you may play a red Tamer card from your hand without paying some memory cost. You get to play an Ultimate and a Tamer. So either or, this thing comes in for 5 if you already have the Tamer out, or it's coming in for 7 with a Tamer. That is just going to benefit you with 3 cards a turn. So keep that in mind. And then your turn, when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain a memory. Just very powerful cyborg Digimon. Just Metal Greymon being Metal Greymon. Aldermon or Valzyrimon or whatever its name is when you can Digivolve this by reduces costs by 2. So reducing the Digievolution. So it becomes a 1 cost for Digivolving on top of a Tamer. And then when Digivolving, if this Digimon has a Digimon with hybrid in its form, in its Digievolution, this Digimon gains plus 4000 DP for the turn, becoming a 12k beater. But the reason why this card is so viably played in the hybrid deck is because if you have a Digimon with hybrid or 10 warrior typing, option cards checked by your opponent, this Digimon do not activate security checks. So you could definitely win the game with just going up all the way to Ancient Greymon by natural means, warping in with the Agunimon that warps into Ancient Greymon, or you can just go into Emperor Greymon on top of Aldermon, or through the Tamer's effect of warping into Ancient Greymon by pulling out everybody from the graveyard. So keep that in mind. That's kind of why this deck really explodes, because shutting down options is huge. Then we have Avenge Kidmon. So a 3 Musketeer that kind of got kicked out. He's upset. And you know what he kind of does when playing this card from hand? Reduce its memory cost by 1 for each option card in you and your opponent's trash. So being able to then return all cards with 3 Musketeers in their traits and all options from both players' trash to the bottom of the owner's deck. If 7 or more cards were returned using this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3 Musketeers in a trait, or an 8000 DP ultimate basically, or less. So what this thing does is really put a clock on 3 Musketeers. It's a very solid counter in the form of any deck I've seen. This really just says if you're playing 3 Musketeers, you're shut off for a little bit, and it just, yes, you recycle all their stuff, but now their Bellastar is now full cost, and now they're going to be taking a little bit longer to get their stuff back. Some people will say this doesn't really matter because you're just helping them fuel their stuff, but at the same time, they might actually play this card just to help recycle all their 7s options to be reused again. So keep that in mind. Emperor Greymon is a Digimon with Blitz when Digivolving, and then when this Digimon is blocked, unsuspend this Digimon, gain 1 memory for each Digimon card with hybrid in its form in this Digievolution cards. So basically you have 5 Digimon, 1, 2, Rookie, Champion, Ultimate, 3 Digimon instantly for this Digimon to have at least gain back 3 memory when you swing in if they block. Especially a lot of the times though now, nobody's really playing blocker, so keep that in mind. That it's just not played. But that Blitz really does help out to win games, especially when you're using the Tamer's effect to warp into this. Then we have Chaos Dramon. This helped Machine Dramon out more than anybody expected, but it's also not the only card that helps it out in the set. They gained a blue card in a sense that really, this Machine Dramon wasn't really heavily focused on this, but because of being able to Digivolve on top of your Machine Dramon, now you can rip out the Machine Dramon out from underneath Chaos Dramon at a level 6 and then do the whole shebang of having a stack with Chaos Dramon and then having a stack of Machine Dramon that can gain you free memory out of that deal for a 4-cost play option or a 5-cost play option. When Digivolving, you may place one red or black level 5 card with Cyborganist traits from your hand or trash on top of this Digimon's Digievolution cards. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 or less DP for each level 5 Cyborganist trait in this Digievolution card. Being able to clear out board is nasty. Then we have Gomamon on play when this from the Digievolution cards draw 2. This doesn't see much play. Yes, we have the Whalemons in here, but it's just not a full functional deck yet. It's getting there though. Once it gets another round of support, I think the deck will be competitively viable for anybody to play with. So keep that in mind. Then we have Strabimon. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add same thing as our Flame Dramon. And it just adds, hybrid and trait Suzanomon or Koji. So among them to your hand, place the remaining at the bottom of the deck in any order. And on deletion, play a Koji from your hand without paying its memory cost. As an alternate art, then we have Vanilla here, City. You don't really care. Major reason why one of these decks becomes really nutty broken, besides having Ice Wall, is the Kumamon, which is when you may Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your Tamers, as if the Tamer was a level 3 blue Digimon, and when Digivolving, trash one card from the bottom of your opponent's deck. This card helps trash and fuel things, and then its evolution, Korikakumon, is very awesome because you may Digivolve this card from your hand onto one blue Tamer, as if the Tamer was a level 3 for a memory cost 2. Especially you can do 1, 3. We already know they all have this effect. So from here on out, I will not express the level 4s with that same effect. When Digivolving, if you have a hybrid in straight or Tommy in this Digievolution card, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digievolution can't attack or block until the end of next turn. So keep that in mind. Being able to shut them down from everything is huge, because now their Digimon, the only Digimon that can affect you is basically the ones in Raising. If you can start pinging off the ones that they've already had on board and you remove enough sources, they're not going to do anything, and now they're stun locked because the Ice Wall used to shut them down. With the limitation of Ice Wall going to 1, really does help out. Then Kendo is a level 4. It has the same effect, being able to play on top of a blue Tamer for a cost of 2, 1 for a 4, and a 3 for a 3. And when Digivolving, if you have a hybrid or Koji in this card, Digievolution cards, this Digimon gains jamming for the turn, being able to make in poke swings. Then we have Dipenomon. So this is the Penguin. This is the level 5. It makes a slushy machine. Penguin slushy machine. Let's go. For each Digimon your opponent has no Digievolution cards, draw a card. And while a card with hybrid in its traits is in this Digievolution, none of your opponent's level 3 Digimon can attack. Keep that in mind. It's not very much played, sadly. Like, some of the other cards aren't really much played. They're great concepts, but they get better with more support. So keep that in mind. Biowolfmon, same thing as the level 4, the other level 5s we talked about, like Aldermon / Velvinimon. Biowolfmon is when you Beowulfmon, sorry, not Bio. Beowulfmon can, when your Digimon has a Tamer in his Digievolution cards, you may reduce it by 2, so it comes in for cost of 1. When attacking, you may return one card with hybrid in its form from this Digievolution card to your hand. Return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its owner's hand, removing the blockers. It's a very consistent card. It's nasty. Where Gurumon doesn't see much play, sadly. Just not there. But maybe might see some with X Antibody, because once returned, when this Digimon is unsuspended during the main phase, gain 1 memory. Could see some benefit in the X Antibody lines with this. But if you have a Tamer card in play, gain 2 memory. If you don't have a Tamer in play, you may play a blue Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. So the Metal Greymons kind of just combo off and just go from there. we have Whalemon. Sadly, Whalemon doesn't see much play. There is a deck around it, and I hope to probably tinker with it, but it's just not strong enough in this current meta. There's a lot of, with the blue decks being able to rip sources out, Whalemon just was too slow, and then you can't really do anything because your King Whalemon just wasn't able to attack as an ice wall or because the sources were removed. So you just really were stuck. And on play, you may play one level 3 card from your Digievolution cards as another Digimon. If you do, you may place one blue Digimon card from your hand at the bottom of one of your Digievolution cards, just to set up more combos. King Whalemon, when attacking, you may place one level 3 card or one Whalemon from the Digievolution cards as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. When you play a Digimon from one of your Digievolution cards, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its owner's hand. Trash all Digievolution. As I said, it's a little too slow for this format. A lot of people make Tamers as another raising area, so it's a little too late to get some stuff set up. And Blue's strongest version is still the stun deck. Even though it took a little bit of time for its identity to be known, it still is a fantastic deck. Now let's talk about it. Magna Garurumon is really nice because when Digivolving and when attacking, you may return one Digimon with hybrids from the Digievolution cards to your hand. Sadly, this card sees very little to no play, but it's a great deck if you want to play it. So being able to return same level Digimon to your hand, to your opponent's hand while you're doing returning sources to your hand is huge. And especially when your hand increases by any means, it unsuspends and you can swing again. Then we have Ancient Mega Thuriamon. So this is a giant ox. So for each card with hybrid in its trait, this Digimon Digievolution cards trash one Digievolution card from the bottom of each of your opponent's Digimon. Then each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digievolution sources draw 2 cards. This card does not see play. To be honest with you, no lists really have seen play with this. It just, the deck stun way faster and more consistently. You could definitely try it out. I'm not saying it's a bad card, but definitely keep this in mind. On deletion, you may play one blue level 4 or lower Digimon with hybrids in trait from your hand without paying its memory cost. Just keep that in mind. They all have, the ancients all have that. If I die, I do this. Now let's talk about it. Hisurimon is part of this Digiburst line that Yellow finally gets. Very hyper focused on it. When this card is trashed due to the activation of a Digiburst, return this card to its owner's hand. Really nice. Yellow getting that. You have Pulsemon. If you have 3 security, gain 2 memory. Really nice. When attacking, you have Bulkmon seeing another return. While this Digimon has 3 or more security, while you have 3 or more security, this Digimon gains blocker. And opponent's Digimon attacks, you can just block it. So really nice. But sadly, blocker is kind of just too slow because either decks bounce them too fast or they're going to just not care and rip the sources right out. You have Philemon. So Digiburst 2. It's one of your opponent's Digimon gets -2 security checks. Philemon is really good, but sadly, they're just, the deck isn't there. Rezimon's whole line gets better when its other form, Fury Mode, gets released in the next set. So you're going to have to wait for a set for this deck to be nuts, but it's still semi kind of competitive. And with the limitations, we might see it more viable than it was before. So keep this in mind. We have Kazimon Digivolving on top of a Tamer. Then we have Zerafimon. So you may, same thing with all the level 4s. They're going to be coming for a 2 cost. Digivolve level 4 for 1, 3 for a 3 cost. When Digivolving, if you have a hybrid in straight or a Zoe is in this Digimon's Digievolution, all your security Digimon get plus 2,000 until the end of opponent next turn, making your security a lot more threatening than your opponent wants to deal with. Especially if you have an 11k, that becomes a 14k. Even a 14k becomes a 17k, allowing it to be a lot more harder to win games because now you have to hit magic thresholds that you're not normally ready to hit. Then you have Baltmon. So when your opponent's Digimon attacks a player, if you have 3 or more security, unsuspend this Digimon. Just a very nice card. Here is a card that is an uncommon, by the way. Let me express. This is uncommon. And this is one of the most feared cards in the set. Because when one of your Digimon with a Tamer in its Digievolution digivolves in this card in your hand, reduce the cost by 2. Yes, we know it's going to be a 1 cost. But when Digivolving, if you have a hybrid in its traits in this Digi-Evolution card, recovery plus 1. This card allows so much recovery in a way that most people don't like, because you could just Digivolve for 2 and then Digivolve for 3, get a recovery, and now your opponent has to deal with this. So keep that in mind. Strophilamon is really interesting. So when Digivolving, if this Digimon only has 1 Digi-Evolution card, you may place 2 yellow level 4 or lower Digimon in your hand at the bottom of this Digi-Evolution cards, then trigger draw 1. Really nice to replenish your stuff. But also, when this card is trashed due to activation of this Digimon's Digiburst, one of your Digimon gains security plus 1. Really nasty. But here is your boss Digimon for this line. So Ridemyavatar really is very interesting. When Digivolving into this card from hand, the memory cost of this Digi-Evolution is equal to the number of cards in your security stack. If you have 0, this Digimon, the memory cost is 1. So you can't make it for free. So keep that in mind. But once per turn, Digiburst up to 4 cards trash. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn for each trash card by this effect. So he can do at least up to 12. So he can remove 12k bodies very easily. Keep that in mind. Then we have Kuzuchimon. So this is our Pulsemon's final evolution. So when Digivolving, if you have 3 or more security, gain 2 memory. If you have 2 or fewer security, you may recovery plus 1 to guarantee you to go to 3. The Pulsemon line has always focused on being at that sweet spot of 3. Everything activates at 3. Once your turn, while you have 3 or more security, this Digimon gains security plus 1. That is massively amazing. I love it. It's just, boom, you're going to get smacked for multiple security checks. And then we have Ancient Kazamon. Sadly, doesn't see play. It might see a little bit here and there as a one-of tech or anything like that, but there's just so many better mega levels for yellow that just benefit from the whole evolutionary line. Even Shine Greymon, really nasty. While this a card with hybrid in its form is in this Digi-Evolution card, all your security Digimon get plus 4,000 DP, constantly powering up. On deletion, you may play, a level 4. So, with hybrid. So keep that in mind. Gatsumon doesn't really see play. You may reveal 1 green Digimon from your hand. If you do, place it at the top of your deck. It's a very nice card, but the Totoromon really does the job better. Betamon is definitely played. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 green level 4 Digimon or green Tamer among them to your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of the deck in any order. Helps you dig for that Mimi or for our new green Tamer. Tororotomon is a really nice card. Really good throwback to Season 2, especially with the XVmon versus Tororotomon. Well, Vmon versus that, and then it Digivolved into XVmon. When attacking, you may reveal 1 green Digimon card from your hand, place it at the top of the deck. This Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. What's nasty is you put a Nidhogg on top of the deck. Instantly, you Digivolve, you place it. Yes, I know that it sucks to spend and waste resources, but it's just a quick evolution, and then you just board wipe, and boom, you swing in for more power than your opponent really was ready. Beetlemon is such an underrated deck for hybrids. Green hybrid is so underrated, it's not even funny. So you may Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your green Tamers as if the Tamer was a level 3. You already know this, but when Digivolving, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with hybrid in straight and 1 JP among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom deck in any order. Being able to add 2 is huge, especially if you hit the JP early enough. And we have Metal Kabuterimon. This allows you to Digivolve a level 3 for a memory cost 2. And when Digivolving, if you have a card with hybrid in straight or JP in its name, the Digi-Evolution card, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 or less DP. Gets rid of blockers. So much hate on blockers in this set. 6,000 DP is really where blockers sit at, and it just doesn't care. They just want to get rid of it. Mama Tyramon is really nice. Mame Tyramon. So I'm going to mispronounce this. Just shoot me. When attacking, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may Digivolve this Digimon into a green level 6 among them without paying its memory cost. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. This card is the backbone combo with green Gotcha. So keep that in mind. And these beetles are all straight up for hybrid. Now we're going to talk about Rhino Kabuterimon. They're really nice because, it comes in for 1 on top of a Tamer. But when attacking, if you have a Digimon with Hybrid or a Insectoid in its traits in the evolution card, this Digimon can Digivolve into a Digimon with Insectoid or 10 Warriors in its trait in your hand for a memory cost of 3. So instead of paying that horrific 5 cost, you are paying it for 3 instead. And that might win you the game in some instances. Keep that in mind. Saber Leomon's not really played. Even with the X antibody that's coming out, it's not very much played. Dino Rexmon, really nasty little card. When Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. That Digimon doesn't unsuspend. So it's Terriermon on a little bit of legs. But, Mega Gargomon on legs. But what it also has is you return this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon, being a little more beefier and a little more powerhouse. Then we have Ancient Beetlemon, one of the best ancients. So when one of your Digimon with 10 Warriors or Hybrid in its type deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Green loves resting things and just swinging into them. Boom, go on, get it out of here. That's how we play it in this house. On deletion, you may play 1 green level 4 or lower Digimon with Hybrid in its trait from your hand without paying its memory cost. Keep this in mind. We also have Ibawamon. So this card is one of the Sovereigns, especially since we get a Sovereign almost every set since the last couple. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon, and all of your opponent's Digimon gain your turn. You must trash 1 card in your hand to unsuspend this Digimon. It is a choice if you do. Well, no, it's not a choice. They are forced to unsuspend this Digimon. So keep that in mind. Then we have Dorumon. So Dorumon is reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with X antibody in its trait, 1 Kota card from among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Again, Tamer Searcher, you already know it's got a need to do this. And once returned, when you place a card under this Digimon Evolution, gain 1 memory. Boom. We have Monetairymon. Don't play this. This card doesn't see play at all. One set of cards I am super stoked for, to be honest with you. You know how I love D Brigade. I play it a lot. I love that deck. Skull Nightmon for 1. When attacking, you may trash all Digievolution cards from a Deadly Axemon, and then place that Deadly Axemon at the bottom of this Digimon card's Digievolutions into. Then you can Digivolve this Digimon into Dark Nightmon in your hand without paying its memory cost. While this Digimon is Nightmon or Bagoramon in its name, security +1. What's nice is we also have Deadly Axemon giving power. So reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 2 Digimon with Nightmon in their names among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. And then, while this Digimon has Nightmon or Barogamon, I'm going to just skip that card. That card doesn't exist yet. In its name, plus 2,000 DP. Sadly, we're 2 sets past this thing, and we still haven't gotten its other option. Grumblemon, yes, you may Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your black Tamers. Black finally got this. They very much needed it. Gigasamon is really nice because you may Digivolve this, 3. Blocker. It's just a nice blocker for on top of your Tamers just to help you out. Dorugamon is really nice. While you have another Digimon with X antibody in its trait, or a card with X antibody in its trait in this Digimon's Digievolution cards, this Digimon gains blocker. There's another neat blocker, but sadly blockers aren't fast enough in this game. Then we have Dark Nightmon. You may place 1 Skull Nightmon and or 1 Deadly Axemon from your hand or trash at the bottom of the Digievolution card in any order. He has a nasty on play. He gets to cycle these back. What's also nasty, all turns when this Digimon is deleted, you may play 1 Skull Nightmon and or 1 Deadly Axemon suspended that were in this Digievolution cards without paying its memory cost. You get to play these 2 out of the soul after going into Skull Nightmon if you have Deadly Axe out. What is going on here? Your opponent is now really in a bad spot. because this now kind of just loops itself for a couple turns. So keep that in mind. As long as you keep looping it, it's just a nasty card. Yes, it only gets to 9k. But whatever. 9k is usually enough in certain matchups just to clear out a couple security, and then your opponent will fall behind, especially if you get two champions right back. And the reason why this works so synergizing well is because there's an option in this set that lets you play a level 4, but it also, Commandramon kind of does the same speed with this card. So they have 2 threat ceilings now. They have a ticking time clock with Darkdramon, and then they have Deadly Nightmon coming in, throwing in extra power. So the deck synergizes extremely well because they both revolve around discard value just to pull stuff back. So keep that in mind. Duragreymon may put 1 black card with X antibody and typing from your hand at the bottom of the Digi-Evolution card. If you do this, Digimon cannot be deleted by effects, and his DP cannot be reduced until your opponent's next turn. Really nice to be able to shut down minus DP effects because that's really OP at sometimes. And then you have your turn as an Inherital. While this Digimon has X antibody and type, Digimon gains security +1. So letting you clear out. Then we have Dorugurumon. So for each X antibody and trait, this Digimon gains plus 1000 DP during your turn. So 1, 2, 3. You get the picture, right? He gets 14 swinging. Once per turn, you may place 1 card with X antibody and trait from your hand at the bottom of this Digi-Evolution card. Delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon equal to the play cost, less than or equal to that Digi-Evolution card. But in Ultimate, congratulations! You're just popping a lot of annoying threats. Then if you put himself underneath it, you're popping any 11s. Usually that's enough to clear off some megas, but it's not enough to kill all of them. Just keep that in mind. Ancient Volcanomon sadly doesn't see much at all play. Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon. If there's no Digi-Evolution cards, becomes level 3, you can't trash anymore. And then you may play 1 black level 4 or lower Digimon with hybrid in its stage from your hand without paying its memory cost. It's nothing. Lobomon is my sweet little girl. I love Lobomon. So much sass. When you play a Tamer, gain 1 memory. Just really helps out. You play this with the mats. You play it with the... what is it? Kyrie. The purple Kyrie. And then you play it with the new Tamer in the set. So keep that in mind. Eismon Scatter Mode. Do I really need to explain this combo here? So Eismon dies. You activate the draw 3. Discard as many Eismons to the trash. When this card is trashed from your hand using one of your effects, if Scattered Mode is in your trash, play this card without paying its memory cost. Just have an army come out for no reason. I discarded 2. Here's 2 Eismons. Deal with it. What? So that's really nasty. And then your turn for each Eismon Scatter Mode in your trash. The Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. And they get bigger over time. Windingomon. Really nice kill for the Angemon. Sadly, my boy. You may reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Trash all Tamers among them. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So you're trying to remove Tamers out, especially the 2 costs and stuff like that, for reasons I'll explain later. Once per turn, when you play a Tamer, draw a card. Really, really nice. Lowemon. So you may Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your purple Tamers as if the Tamer is a level 3 Digimon. Nothing too crazy there. Then we have Jagger Lowemon. So Digivolving on top of level 3 for 2 costs. Digivolve for 4 for 1 cost, or a 3 for 3 costs. When Digivolving, if this Digimon has a Digimon card with hybrid in its form or Konochi in its Digi-Evolution cards, the Digimon gains Retaliation. Really nice to be able to swing and kill things, right? Then we have Antilamon. So when Digivolving, you may play 1 purple Tamer with a play cost 3 or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. There's a reason why we're playing the Kyries. They are 2 costs. And then you have the brother here, Konochi, coming in for that 3 cost. Then you have Raihimon. So yes, I'm sorry. I never really come across this card very much. So I will butcher it for a bit. So Memory cost of 2. You get to reduce it. It will become 1 on top of a Tamer. On deletion, if you have a hybrid in form in this Digimon Evolution card, you may play 1 purple Tamer from your trash without paying its memory cost. Keep that in mind. Orochimon, when you trash a card in your hand, if you're using one of your effects, draw 1. So you can cycle even more with scatter mode, drawing more advantages. It just gets nasty. And you may trash 1 card in your hand to gain 1 memory. Then you have it, Nidhogg. When trashing this card in your hand using one of your effects, gain 1 memory. You see what's going on here? And then when Digivolving, you may trash a card in your hand to delete one of your opponent's Digimon from level 4 or lower. When Digivolving for 3 cost means now it comes in for 2. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon. There's an issue here. Then we have Ancient Sphinxmon. So when Digivolving, you may delete one of your Digimon with 10 warriors or hybrid in straight to delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to that Digimon's deleted level. And then on deletion, play a level hybrid, level 4. Now, here comes Purple's another boss Digimon. When Digivolving, play 1 purple Tamer from your trash without paying its memory cost. Then for each Tamer you have in play, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Congratulations, you can kill off everything. And then on deletion, for each Tamer you have in play, you may play 1 level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. When he dies, just go straight up play a 3. Cool. Or board wipe with a bunch of Tamers. Nemon, very interesting. Play a Tamer with the inheritable effect from your hand without paying its memory cost. All the new Tamers have inheritable effects except for Kota. So keep that in mind. While your Digimon with a Tamer is in its Digivolution card is deleted, you may play a Tamer from your trash without paying its memory cost. So pretty much recycling and replenishing that lost Tamer. Bokomon. Reveal the 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with hybrid in its form or 10 warriors in its typing. 1 Digimon card among them from your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. And then your turn, when your Tamer Digivolves, gain 2 memory. Pretty much making it so that anytime you are Digivolving for this one for the cost of reduced cost, that's costing 1, you're gaining an extra free memory for this. And the more Bokomon you have, congratulations. Now we have Sistermon Blanc Awaken. So Sistermon gets another little bump, but what makes it really nasty, you may place 1 Sistermon Blanc from your hand or trash to the bottom of this Digi-Evolution cards to trigger recovery +1. So Red getting a free recovery is nothing to scoff at. And on deletion, return 1 Jessmon, Huckmon, or Sistermon in his name, except Sistermon Blanc Awaken from your trash to your hand. So if you lose out on your resources, they come back. Why not? Why? What's the point of killing things, right? And then Sistermon Nor or Seal for us, because they don't like guns. You may place 1 Sistermon Nor from your hand or trash to the bottom of the CG Evolution card to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 5 or less. Why do they get all the nice things? Return one card, and on deletion, you get to return a Jessmon, Huckmon, or Sistermon from your trash to your hand. So just keep that in mind. Then we got Eosmon. All your other Eosmon get plus 1000 DP. On deletion, you may play 1 level 5 or lower Eosmons from your hand without paying its memory cost. So 3 costs to evolve. Sadly, this wasn't enough to make Eosmon overly competitive. This card, I wish, had more competitive viability, but the deck is still too slow. Even giving it the answer it needed to raise the ceiling of its, Eosmons coming in with bigger power means your option that would delete a Digimon based on the DP level of your Eosmon mattered. But this Eosmon is very limited and it's not big enough. It should have been inheritables related to the smaller ones or something like that. Putting on the big one just does not make sense. I'm sorry. Takuya, Kanabira, blah, 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 blah. Takuya is really nice, especially because this one allows you to use anything from the trash and put it underneath this Tamer to warp into Emperor Greymon or its Digi-Evolution cost, which is, you want to know? You remember what I said earlier? 4 cost! So 4 costs, it gains extra security check. And while this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP, while this Digimon has 10,000 or more, this Digimon gains security plus 1. Everything is going to be swinging with big Unga Bunga numbers. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That you're just going to swing Unga Bunga numbers. Tommy is trash the bottom of 3 Digi Evolution cards from one of your opponent's Digimon. Bye-bye evolution stacks, and then stun the daylights out of them. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digi Evolutions cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. So, you just combo it in with this bad boy here, and when Digivolving, they can't attack or block, so that shuts off 2 attacks immediately. Keep that in mind. It's just ridiculous. It's just stun, stun, stun. Koji's in here for placing 5 hybrids in their form from your hand underneath this tamer in any order, and Digivolve into Magna Garurumon in your hand for its Digivolution cost if the tamer is a level, as if the tamer was a level 5. But what's really nasty is your turn as the Inheritable. When an effect adds a card to your hand, gain 1 memory. This Digimon cannot be blocked for the turn. Cool. So if you have blockers up, you're just going through them and not caring. So keep this in mind. Zoe really is a nasty little girl. So what makes her nasty is search your security stack for 1 card with hybrid 10 warriors in its name, reveal it, add it to your hand. If you added a card, recovery plus 1. So what you would do, naturally what the old deck used to do, was if you saw a Susanamon, you pulled it out early, and then any of the hybrids you needed, and then just keep building up for the tamer lockdown, and then cycle all the tamers back. Susano comes in for dirt cheap, and with the Mega Digi Evolution Fusion, and congratulations, that's how you go about it. JP, I love him. When this Digimon digivolves into a green tamer, the Digi Evolution cost is reduced by 1. On top of it, you get to reduce it even more. So keep that in mind, that it's going to be nasty. Piercing gives your Digimon, this Digimon, piercing. So if you remove something on top of the on deletion of the first check of the effect, you get to kill something else on top of it just because of the Inheritable. Then you have Kota. Kota is really helpful for your X antibody deck because on play, reveal 4 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with the X antibody typing among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. And then you have Kunoichi because on play, trigger draw 1, then trash card 1 card from your hand. Nice. Just being able to draw and filter like purple does, and on deletion, gain a memory. I see where you're going there. Flame memory boost, delay, but when one of your Digimon gain main phase, one of your Digimon gains security plus 1, then place this card on the battle area. For 3 costs, congratulations, you got a security checker extra with a memory boost. Keep that in mind. Flame Drake Strike, sort of played. Choose one of your opponent's Digimon with the hybrid in form. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the chosen DP. And then security, you may play 1 Takuya from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. Really nice. Giga Storm! Delete 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 or less DP. Congratulations, Giga Storm is nasty. I really love it. Blue Hawaii Death doesn't see play, but it is for the turn. One of your Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP for the turn, and also can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with no security. Adds to your hand. Starlight Velocity does not see play. You may play 1 Tamer or 1 Digimon card with hybrid in straight from one of your Digimon to the Evolution card as a Tamer, or another Digimon without paying its memory cost. And then you may play 1 Koji. Nothing too crazy there. Tidal Wave. This was the option I was talking about for the Machine Dramon deck with Chaos Dramon. So choose up to 2 of your Digimon in this Digi-Evolution card of one of your Digimon. Play them as other Digimon without paying their memory cost. So Machine Dramon comes out, searches, take an ultimate, take it out, boom, boom, boom. Your board just got wider for a tidal wave of 7 cost. And then your Machine Dramon literally refreshes this for 0 cost. You use tidal wave for free. And then what's nasty is tidal wave can be even more nastier, especially if this is revealed in security after a Machine Dramon play. Boom. The Machine Dramon at least can grab 1 to 2. That might be able to be enough to push your opponent all the way back to your side of the field. So then your opponent is really screwed. Discard Ultra Turbulence does not see play. One of your opponent's Digimon and all your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3,000 DP. Does not see play. Electric Rush does not see play. One of your Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP if you have 3 security cards. Unsuspend this Tamer. Then we have the Quillistis Blast. So when using this card from your hand, if its memory cost is equal to the number of cards in your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP. Then if one Ridemyavatar gains security plus 1 for the turn. So it gets cheaper as time goes on. This card, Thunder Laser. So if you have a Digimon with hybrid or 10 warriors in its trait, spend one of your opponent's Digimon. Security, add it to hand. 1 cost. Flower Cannon. And then you get to kill things. That's nasty. Then we have Dino Memory Boost. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then place this card into the battle area. Delay, gain 2 memory. Nice to be able to suspend, but for the delay cost, it's not really worth it. Mugen. Mugen is really interesting. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. That Digimon doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. I wish this card mirrored its effect on both ends, but it doesn't really see play. Thunder Laser is definitely seeing play. Then we have Metal Cannon. Choose one of your Digimon with X antibodies and trait, then draw a card for each of that Digimon's Digievolution card. This definitely sees a little bit of play because being able to draw multiple cards in black is huge. Pride Memory Boost. This is what I was talking about earlier for the Dark Dramons. And then we also Dark Knightmon and the Deadly Axemon. But what's nasty is it also helps Commandramon out. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play a black Digimon card with a play cost 4 or less. Among them, trash demanding cards. Then place this card into the battle area. So now they have an official memory booster that really helps out with the milling effect that you need. Pride Memory Booster is just all the rage. Then we have Brave Metal. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 6 or less if the Digimon has 5 or more Digievolution cards. If you have a Digimon X antibody in its traits in play, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon without X antibody in its typing instead. Sadly, this card gets nerfed when BT-09 comes out because of the X antibody card. This card, Calling from Darkness. Delete one of your Digimon, then return up to 2 purple Digimon from your trash to your hand. Let me explain a little something. So, what you can do is have a scatter mode. And then these Eismon that either have died or anything like that has been used up. Use this 1 cost, bring this back up. Then swing into scatter mode. Scatter mode dies because of 4K. And then boom. Eismon get discarded again. You draw some cards, and then now you have a full board again that your opponent has to answer. Then you have Schwartz-Lazursa. This is a card I'm never going to pronounce. I'm lucky I pronounced Zwart Swarmer. For each Digimon with hybrid in its trait Tamer you have in play, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Such a board wipe potential card. It sees a little bit of play. Ultimate Sacrifice, or aka Dead or Alive. Play 1 purple level 5 Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. If you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you may play 1 Digimon with Lucemon in its name without paying its memory cost. It means you can play the yellow Lucemon for free. Instant recovery for 8. Gotta love it. Ancient Evolution doesn't really see much play. If you have a Digimon with hybrid in its form, you use this option ignoring its color requirement. One of your level 4 Digimon can Digivolve into 1 card in your hand with the same color with 10 warriors in its typing by paying its Digievolution card, ignoring its level requirement. Still costs 5. The Warp. Your Lucemon can Digivolve into this Digimon in your hand for a memory cost 7, ignoring this Digievolution's requirements. So, that's really nice. And then when you play this card in your hand, reduce the memory cost by 3 for every 10 cards in trash. But also on play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon, or 1 Tamer. So killing Tamers is the name of the game for Lucemon Chaos Mode. And then Suzanomon is one of the big bosses. They had to nerf it by getting rid of Mega Digimon Fusion, but that's fine. Place a total of 10 cards that are Tamers or Digimon cards with hybrids in their form from your hand or trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. You may Digivolve this Digimon card in your hand into a Tamer as if the Tamer is a level 6 Digimon. Now you see why Fusion was banned, because it cost 1 to make this thing. Security plus 2, and then when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. 3 swings 15k. Not many decks can survive this. So guys, what do you think of BT-07 Next Adventure? If I think that's right. Next Adventures. Yeah, Next Adventure. So guys, let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!